Okay, so good morning, everyone, and welcome to day 12, the magical people who made a difference in our life. This is an interesting one, I believe, but there is always somebody who makes a difference in our life, whether we acknowledge it, whether we don't acknowledge it. Now, this lesson usually focuses on the good in others. Okay, it usually focuses on the good and the the positive things in others, all right? And it works on something called a ripple effect of appreciation, how gratitude heals a relationship, how it builds connections, you know. And this is also based on the um, Vedic principle of loving people or acknowledging them in our life, because it is something which, if I would relate it to a Vedic wisdom, I would rather relate to the Vedic wisdom of the line which uh, Ishvara Sarabhutanam means the God lives, the God dwells in all living being. I think that is the best way to describe this chapter that we are going to do. So it starts with a quote by Albert Schweitzer. I hope I'm reading it right. Was a Nobel Peace Prize winning medical missionary and philosopher. Okay, so the quote is: At times, our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each one of us has a cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us. So, means there are times in our lives when our spark goes out, and at that time, there is always someone the universe sends us to rekindle, to relight that spark. And we will always, and we should always have the deep gratitude for people who lighten the flame within us when it went out. So, this is a very good way of acknowledging the good in people. Sometimes, most of the time, when we get better in life, we always forget the person who was there when we were not so good in life. But this chapter tells us to rekindle, and this chapter tells us to show that gratitude to that person who who helped you in your time when things were not right for you. Every one of us has received help, support, or guidance from the people at particular times in our life when we needed it most. Sometimes another person alters the course of our life through their encouragement, guidance, or just being there at the right time. So we have always received support, guidance from other people. Not just the guidance part, but sometimes when people are just present there, they're just there in our life and we know that the person is there, that is also a big blessing for us. And then life goes on, and we tend to forget those times when one person touched us or changed our life. Sometimes you don't even realize the impact a person had until well into the future, when you look back on your life and realize that a particular person was pivotal. Pivotal means main character, the center, in magically changing the direction of your life for the better. So what this is exactly what I said, that we always have someone in our life who shows us the way, leads us the way. You know, even if somebody is there for you, just to listen to you, talk to you, help you, guide you, sometimes shout at you. It is a blessing that you have in life. Most of the time, people move on in their life and they don't remember this person who ever magically changed the direction of your life. It could be anyone, but people usually do not remember this person. The person may have been a teacher or a coach, an uncle, aunt, sibling, grandparent, or any family member. They may have been a doctor, nurse, or best friend. They may have been the person who introduced you to your current partner, or to a particular interest that become one of your greatest passion. So this person can be anybody. This person can be a doctor, a friend, a nurse, a sibling, an aunt, a grandparent, family member, friends, somebody you know, somebody you don't know, a stranger that you met on the road. You had a conversation and he was able to tell you something or give you an idea or put an idea in your head or instill a faith in your head. It could be just anybody who does good to you, right? They maybe they were someone you didn't even know, and they appeared in your life very briefly, performing a random act of kindness that touched you to the core. Exactly what I said. This could be anyone. This could be the person that you apparently met on a journey, and he or she said something nice to you, or she said something good, or maybe he or she said something that she learned in her life, a lesson that they learned in their life, and they shared it with you, saying that, this is what I learned, that this is what I think, this is how it was, and this is what the outcome of it. You just listen to that story and you learn from that story. That is one way of universe giving it to you. It is giving you an experience of somebody which you might never have in your life, but you have the option to study, to learn from that experience. So even those person. My grandmother gave me my love for books, cooking, and countryside by sharing her love for those things with me. All of them affected and changed the course of my life. Cooking became a passion of mine for over 20 years. My love for book eventually led to me becoming a writer, and my love for the countryside has influenced where I have lived throughout my life. So sometimes people pass on their love to us, pass on their liking to us. In this case, the author's grandmother influenced her for cooking, influenced her for books and her countryside life. And she says that this has eventually become a part of her life. Eventually, she became a writer. Eventually, she loved cooking for years and years. And then now she lives in the countryside all by herself. This is only because her grandmother was able to instill that in her. My grandmother also disciplined with a steel hand to say thank you. So, my grandmother also disciplined me to say thank you. This is something that my mother always does. She will always say, be thankful for things that you have, be thankful for things that you have. Don't ignore things that you have. But my mom always tells me that, be thankful. We know this thing because whenever we eat food, and if a grain of rice falls out of the plate, she will make us take that grain and either eat it or at least dispose it off in the right way. And when we asked what is the difference between letting it on the table and throwing it away, it is almost the same thing. She said, no, it is about, throwing it away casually when you're not thankful for it, and throwing it away in a more dignified way, whether you are thankful for that food. So this was something that my mom always used to say while growing up. She will always instead take the food, don't throw the food, take the food, put it back in the plate. Make sure that you don't have food on the table, spilling the table over. Don't do that. The same thing she would not let. I think I've said this before also, that we do not have the concept of throwing things in food items in our basket. So a lot of things that are instilled in us through our parents, through our grandmother, carry on throughout our life, and that actually shapes us. At the time, I thought she was just teaching me to be polite. It was only later in my life I realized that teaching me to say the magic word was the greatest gift my grandmother ever gave me. She is not alive anymore, but I continue to be grateful to her for the huge influence she had on the course of my life. Thank you, Grandma. So this is a thank you that she is giving to her grandmother for the fact that the grandmother was the one who apparently instilled the act of being grateful in our lives. So we also have somebody, we may not have the grandma, but we also will have somebody in our life who will instill a quality in us, who will instill a habit in us, who will instill a good thing in us, and we should always be thankful to them. Today, you're going to think about the magical people who have impacted your life. So, today, you're going to think about the magical people who have impacted your life. Find a quiet place alone sometime during the day today. Sit down and think of three extraordinary people who have made a difference in your life. Once you have your three people, work with one person at a time and talk out loud to each person as though they were present, telling him or her the reasons why you are grateful to them and how they affected the course of your life. This is something that you should do. I do this with my grandfather very often. Very, very often I do this with my grandfather because he is one person who made a lot of difference in my life. My grandfather was a great guy. I learned a lot from him in my life. He was in the British Army. He's dead. I think he died at around 99 or 102 years old. And he was in British Army. He retired from the British Army. Then he joined the Indian Army as an honorary major. And this guy was amazing. The kind of things that he has done in his life, the act of discipline is instilled in me through my grandfather. He used to wake up at 4 o'clock every day. He will wake up at 4 o'clock. He will go for a walk. 5 o'clock, he will sit and he will do his shaving. And it was like clockwork. You don't have to watch a clock to know what time is it. He had a cup in which he used to have this shaving set, and he will shake it. Cut, 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 cut. So that was the alarm for the entire family. We knew that at 5 o'clock he is awake and is doing the shaving. And now he has passed away, but the act of discipline that he instilled in me is something that I'm always grateful to him. So a lot of times I sit down and I do a remembrance for him, and I thank him for being there, for teaching me this skill of being disciplined in life, doing things at the right time in the right manner. Something that he has instilled, something that has helped me in my life to grow to the place that I am in. So you also need to find out people who have made such an impact, who gave you an act, who gave you a habit, who gave you, something to look for, something to work, who changed the course of your life, who made a huge change in your life. Think about those person, think about them one person at a time, and tell him or her why you are grateful to them. And when you do that, make sure you're talking to that person. It should not like, oh, okay, fine, thank you. No. Imagine he is there, or imagine she is there, and talk to them. Tell them that why you are grateful and how it affected your life. Make sure you do this magical practice with all three people in one session, because it will take your feeling of gratitude to a far deeper level. If you split up this magical practice throughout the day, you will not feel the same depth of gratitude nor receive the magical results. Yes, to an extent, this is true. You need to pick up three people who you want to be thankful to. You sit down, make a list of all the three things, all the three people, what is the good that they have done, and express your thanks to each one of them, and make sure that you do that in one go. Here's an example of you might say, Sarah, I want to thank you for the times. So Sarah probably could be her grandmother. So, Sarah, I want to thank you for the time that you encouraged me to follow my heart. I was lost and confused that day. So, probably Sarah is not a grandmother. So, I want to thank you for the time that you encouraged me to follow my heart. I was lost and confused that day, and your words touched me and lifted me out of despair because of what you said. I found the courage to follow my dream, and I moved to France to work as an apprentice chef. I am living my dream and I couldn't be happier, all because of what you said to me that day. Thank you, Sarah. Now, this is something that you have to do. You have to find out the person that you want to express your gratitude for, to sit down and say that in a nice manner, how they made the difference, what is the difference that they made, and they how it impacted your life. Now, if we go to a Vedic wisdom, if you remember, I spoke about the Rin factor, obligation, the Rin that we had, Pitru Rin to the parents and ancestors, Pitru Rin that we have. We have then Rishi Rin, the Rin that we have for our teachers, our Munis, right? So this is a part of that. So when you say, when you're, what she is doing is that if somebody is there, that person is not there in your life, that becomes the Pitru Rin, your to your parents and ancestors. So it is your parents and ancestors, that is your Pitru Rin. If you are talking about people who have impacted your life and they are still there, it is more of a Rishi Rin. The people, to people with knowledge. Rishi is not just Muni and yogis, but Rishi is also considered people who are knowledgeable. So anybody who has the knowledge, and if he or she is giving you the knowledge, it is the Rishi Rin. So what she's talking about in here is nothing different than, the Rishi. uh, So what she's talking about is Rishi and Pitru, the two runners that we spoke about. I think I spoke about this, and we discussed this, right? So what she's talking about here is the Rishi and the Pitru, and this is there in our Vedic wisdom, and this is something that has been discussed by the author as well. It is very important that you say the reasons why you are grateful. So make sure that you say the reasons why you are grateful, because that is how you show the gratitude that you have. And you can't say too much. Instead, the more you say and the more you feel, the more amazing the result. You will see the magic explode in your life from doing this practice. It numbers amongst the most powerful act of gratitude you can ever perform. Yes, it is true. People, when they are alive, they are not alive. But if you, for ancestors, I know this thing for sure, that if you are grateful, if you have the gratitude for your ancestors and you sit down, you thank them for what they have done for you thank them for what their contribution is in your life, this actually works miracles. You can just try it. Just sit down, remember three people, think what they have done, tell them what they have done, tell them how it affected your life, tell them where it has taken you right now, and be thankful about it. See how differently, how much it will affect your life. It will. If you're not in a position to talk out loud, then you can write down your words to each person, address them though you're writing a letter. So this is also something that you do. So we should actually sit and talk to these people as if you are talking to them, as if I'm sitting in front of my ancestor. If I want to see how I do this with my grandfather is that I imagine him being there. So my childhood, I was always around him. I grew up with my grandfather till the age of 8 or 9 years, 9 or 10 years, probably 10, yeah, 10 or 11 years I was with my grandfather. And I used to be always around him. Wherever he would go, I was to go with him. He goes to the field, I go with him. He goes to shop, I go with him. And I was always chatty with him. I used to speak to him things, ask about him things, question about him. So today, when I sit down with him, I imagine that, I'm sitting in the presence of my grandfather. I'm telling him that this is something that you have done good for me. Thank you for this advice. Thank you for making me show this. Thank you for thank you for showing me how things work. He was more of a practical person who would show, who would not tell you that you have to do this, but he would show. Okay, he would keep on repeating things in front of you so that you understand, oh, this is important, this is important. He had a very we had a very strange custom that he used to do, and he never said this to anybody, but whenever he is served food, whenever he is served food in front of him, he would ask, did did he eat? Did he eat? Did she eat? Did that person eat? Everybody, he would take everybody in the family and he would ask, did he eat? And that is one habit I have now. He never taught me that. He never said that you need to do this, but he did it so many times that I still follow that. Now, when I sit down to eat, I will ask my sister, I'll ask my mother, did they eat? Did they eat? Did they eat? So that has come to us. So today, when I'm sitting down and thanking to him, I'll sit and imagine as if I'm a child sitting with him and I'm talking to him as I used to do when I was a child. So you can do the same thing when you think about somebody you need to be thankful for. Go back to the time that you spend with that person. Take up that, that aura around you. Take up that personality around you. and sit down and speak to them. Don't thank them as if you're just talking to somebody non-realistic. Imagine, remember, this is the most important thing in manifestation is your sankalp should have the bhavana. If it doesn't have the bhavana, your reality will not come. So sit down, have that sankalp, have that thought, and put it with the bhavana. Sit down, imagine that you are speaking to your grandfather, grandmother, whoever you were impressed with, and talk to them as if you're talking to them in person. Go back to your time when you used to speak to them that way. In case you are not able to do that, in case you're not able to talk out loud, because you definitely don't want to be considered as people telling you that you have lost your mind. So in case you don't want to do that, or you can't do that, try to write them a letter as you would write them if they were alive. Try to do that. When you have completed this practice, you will feel a huge difference in the way you feel. The evidence of gratitude's power working is always for that first and foremost, it makes you happy. And this is the first emotion that you will feel. You will feel, because when we are impressed by people in our life, it connects us in a lot many ways. It is not just about the memory that we have, but it connects us to them in a lot many ways. And when you sit down after so many years to speak to your ancestors, to speak to people who made a difference in your life, you will go back to that phase when you were probably not this stressed, not this strained. Life was happier, life was carefree, life was good, and it will make an impact. So when you go in that space, sit down with them, talk to them, say them that you are thankful for whatever they did. You're not just being grateful to them, but you're also bringing back those old memories, which will make you happier. Not just the gratitude fact, but those memories, those experiences will make you happier. Most of us, in so many of our lives things, most of us actually forget that we were child sometime, that we were carefree. We didn't have to bother about life. We didn't have to bother about money. We didn't have to bother about dress. Everything was so free. Life was so beautiful. So most of us actually forget that. Sometimes it is important to revisit your childhood. Don't kill that child within you. uh, I have always said this to all my students that no matter how old you grow, don't kill the child in you. Revisit your childhood. Think about your childhood. Think about things that you had privilege to. Be thankful for them. Be thankful for the people there. That is also part of keeping yourself happy. The secondary evidence of gratitude's power is that you attract wonderful things, and if all of that wasn't enough, the happiness you feel after practicing gratitude also attracts more wonderful things, which will make you even happier. That's the magic of life, and that's the magical power of gratitude. So, this will not just make you happy, but it will start attracting wonderful things about everything that you want in life. It will start attracting, that wonderful things in your life. And if this wasn't enough, the happiness you feel after practicing gratitude also attracts wonderful things, which will make you even more happier. So when you do this rina things, when you're fulfilling the rina, that rin, it's not rina in Sanskrit, it is as a rin, right? When you are fulfilling this rin, it is not about repayment, it is about acknowledging. And this is also about living a life of dharma. It is the right dharma that you're doing, and you are passing on knowledge. You're expressing gratitude, which is absolutely marvelous. Once you start doing this, once you start doing the magic people who made difference in your life, your life actually aligns with the Rishi Rin, and all that countless blessings that you had in your life. It's 8:30. All that countless blessings, thank you. All that blessings that you had in your life, it is like you acknowledge them. And once you acknowledge these things, you become a giver in your life. That is the good thing that happens when you start acknowledging all the rins that you have received. You will start giving to the people. You will act more like a giver. right? And that is why it is important that you have this policy, or you have this act of being thankful. It also creates humility. It makes you realize that you are here not just because of yourself. You are here because a lot of our ancestors have contributed to us. So probably you do not know what your grandfather had to go through to have your parents, what your parents had to go through to have you. Your children will not know what your great grandfathers had to go through. So if we just give off that rin, if we just keep giving off that rin, it will make us more humble in the energy around us. That is what I believe. I believe that people who actually acknowledge, their ancestors and the people who have made a difference in life, they are fulfilling one of the basic things of our Vedic wisdom, and that is Rin, right? Rin for people who guided us, Rin for people who led us, rin for people who uplifted us. And when you are acknowledging and expressing gratitude to these people, you're not only honoring them, but you're also fulfilling your spiritual obligation, right, in your own life, by becoming a source of positive energy and attracting more such beneficiaries in your journey. See, the thing that you do is that when you start paying gratitude for people who have helped you, for gratitude for people who have showed you the path, gratitude for people who have been there to you, you are creating a factor for the universe to give you more people like that. You are creating a path for universe to give you more people who will be benefactors in your journey, who will be advisors in your journey, who will give you the knowledge that you need in your life, probably, who will give you the understanding that you need in your life. So when you do this rin, you are not just paying them up, but you're also creating a life which will have more of such people in your presence. That is one of the most beautiful aspects of, I would say, Atma Darshan, right? This is kind of an Atma Darshan. We are not just looking into ourselves, but we are also creating something for ourselves. And so it is a wonderful experience when you learn that how much you have to be grateful for in life, how many people you have to be grateful for in your life. Um, Sounds very simple, but no, it is not. It is too many people contribute in our life. That divine reflection, the understanding of fact that everybody has God in them, understanding that we are grateful for our ancestors, we are grateful for our parents, we are grateful for our friends. Understanding will keep you happy, and it will attract more of such things in your life because you are being grateful to them. So, indirectly, what you're doing is that you're attracting people to help you, people to guide you, people to show you the path in your life because you are being grateful to people who already did that. So, when you are grateful for something, what happens? You get more of that. When you're complaining for something, you get more of that reason to complain. When you're grateful for something, you get more reason to be grateful for. Come to the letter magic practice number 12. So, what do you need to do in magic practice number 12? Count your blessings, make a list of 10 blessings, write why you are grateful, reread your list, and at the end of each blessing, say thank you, thank you, thank you, and feel as grateful for the blessings as you can. So, this is the first thing that you do. Usually, say, see, she keeps this the same every day, because this is probably how your day should start. So this she keeps the same. Then find a quiet place alone sometime during the day. Make a list of three people who made a difference in your life. And then work through the list one person at a time. And while talking out loud, tell each person the reason why you are grateful for them and exactly how they affected the course of your life. This is so simplified, but when I read this thing, the first thing that goes to my mind is that how how much we are impressed by this thing. I see a lot of people, I meet a lot of people who would say, "Oh my God, magic has changed my life. Oh my God, reading magic had made me understood this thing." But it is such a pity that these are the fundamental knowledge that we have in our Vedas, in our Shastras, in our Upanishads. These are the fundamental knowledge. And we we talk about things, that we carry a tradition of thousands of years. We have this, we have that, but we don't go back and look into this. This is very, very unfortunate. Yesterday, I was talking to somebody, I was telling the same thing that, and I was telling him that I want to write the entire magic in as per the Vedic perspective. So we were discussing about that part that we can write the entire magic with a Vedic perspective, how things are taken. But coming back to the point, this is there in our Vedic literature, it is there in our Sanskriti, it is there in our traditions. All you need to do is to be grateful for people who have helped you, the Rishi Rin and the Pitru Rin. Please do that. Just before you go to sleep tonight, hold a magic rock in one hand. Say the magic word, thank you, for the best thing that happened during the day. So, this is the end that she wants to do, how you end your day. You say thank you for all the good things or the best thing that happened in that particular day. I think that brings us to the end of this chapter. This was pretty small, and we were able to cover it. So I think this is uh, a good experience that we have. Now, since we have a little bit of time, I think we can, if you want to have, I will switch off the recording. All right. So in that case, we will call it a day and we will meet up in the next session. We will go through Make All Your Wishes Come True. This is a beautiful lesson that you will love reading. So today's take is be thankful. So be thankful to people who made a difference in your life, dead or alive. Thank, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening to me and have a great day ahead of you. Take care of yourself. We'll meet again tomorrow with a beautiful new lesson. Make all your wishes come true. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Have a great day.
Thank you.
I'm just thinking of how many more days we are yet to do it because I started thinking like